Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims Info and Thoughts video on the Cottage Living expansion pack. SimGuru Romeo took to Twitter today to answer a few more questions, so let's get right into it. So he says, "Good morning everyone. Yesterday was full of excitement around the new expansion pack. The team here cannot wait for you all to get your hands on it and start playing. We have a lot more information coming soon, but I wanted to address two specific topics I saw come up yesterday. Why are horses not in Cottage Living? Making horses with the quality and depth of gameplay they deserve is a substantial undertaking. We felt they are not core to the garden to table experience, so we focused on the animals that are in Cottage Living. We always are listening to your input on what you all would like to see for future releases, and we will continue to do so as we expand The Sims 4. I'm not surprised by this answer. I've been on the fence as to whether we'll ever get horses in The Sims 4, because in The Sims 3, it made sense with the open world, so there always was a lot of space for the horses to gallop around. In The Sims 4, well, that's extremely on a case-by-case basis. There's only a few worlds that I can think of that horses would be pretty decent to play around with. So, yeah, I think that's a huge obstacle as to why we haven't already gotten horses. And there was that leak for horses before Cats and Dogs was announced, but they didn't really have that much code in there. So I'm also wondering if maybe horses were just scrapped entirely. But maybe we'll still get horses if enough people ask for them, just like how we did with farming. So yeah, maybe in a couple years we'll get horses. I could imagine an Equestrian game pack working if there was a lot of content so that it would be justified to be its own separate pack. Like, for example, what if the Equestrian Center rabbit hole from The Sims 3 Pets became an open venue? Kind of like what it looked like in that shot there. But actually being able to watch our Sims compete on horseback. I think that would be a lot of fun. And maybe it could be sort of like in the public space, so it would not be able to be edited, but then you wouldn't hit a loading screen if you happen to be in that same neighborhood. I would also hope that the horses would at least work a little bit better than they did in The Sims 3, because for me, the horses would just back up a lot, and if I was using the obstacle courses, they would often teleport a bit away from the course, and be like, wait, what? What happened? It was really odd. I don't even remember the teleporting thing happened back in the day, but as of recently, that's what's been happening to me. But yeah, that would be good if they could sort that out. However, the track record for separating what was usually put in the same packs in the previous games into their own individual packs in The Sims 4 is pretty mixed, and I can absolutely see why. Sure, there's a few exceptions, like I would say vampires and celebrities were better off being their own packs, but even with Dream Home Decorator, I don't think the interior design career needed to be its own separate game pack. I don't feel like there was enough there. Of course, we can't forget about My First Pet stuff either. That's another really just prime example of separating content gone very wrong. In the meantime though, Arnie's Farmland mod does feature functional horses, so there is still that to look forward to for those who are really disappointed that horses aren't in this pack. Also, for those of you who were hoping for fairies with this expansion pack, I think a very similar explanation can be given. They probably would put fairies in their own pack, probably a game pack. I just hope that they would make fairies unique enough from spellcasters to justify it. Maybe they could put in a freelance tooth fairy career. I mean, they gave us literal dust bunnies just months ago, so I wouldn't say that's out of the question. SimGuru Romeo also spoke about ponds. Can my Sim swim in ponds? We wanted to provide players with as much flexibility in customizing the looks and shapes of their ponds. Because of this, Sims will not be able to swim in them. However, we wanted to make sure there was fun gameplay associated with ponds. You can find Sims splashing in the pond's edges, catching fish that you have stocked in the pond, as well as decorate your pond with brand new objects and visual effects. One of them being an alligator, apparently, as I talked about in a video from earlier today. So while I do understand why no horses in this pack, I am more disappointed about not having fully swimmable ponds. I felt like it was a natural conclusion to jump to when I saw that child wading into the pond. So, yeah, dang. I really would have liked for the pond tool to detect that the pond is deep enough for Sims to swim in. Yeah, not every pond makes sense to swim in, but at least with the pool tool, you could still try and mask the edges with things like rocks and some of the stuff from Get Together, but it's still not quite the same. The rest of the stuff sounds interesting though, like being able to stock a pond with fish and also being able to have different visual effects. I'm interested in seeing the full list, especially since alligators are supposed to be part of that. What else are they gonna do? There is also some Q&A to go over. So Emma asked, the ponds, will they come in an update or directly in the pack? And Subaru Romeo says, the ponds will be free to everyone when Cottage Living drops. Okay, that's what I expected, but it's good to hear that this is 100% a fact now. And Mira asked, is it a tool like the terrain tool, say a water tool? Romeo says it will function in conjunction with the terrain tool. You will use the terrain tool to dig the hole you want, and then you will use a separate water tool to fill said hole to your desired height. Okay, that sounds very interesting and realistic too. Aussie Sims asked, will ponds get frozen in winter if you have seasons installed? Just asking. And Romeo says, yes, ponds will freeze in the winter, so that at least is one way to differentiate them from the pools in that way. And then Evanla24 asks, does that mean we can skate on them if we have seasons? And Romeo replies, for the same reason Sims are unable to swim, Sims are unable to skate on ponds. Okay, I figured that would be the case. I would have been a bit more inclined to believe that we'd be able to skate on the ponds if we could skate just on the open water when it's frozen in the winter, but no, you can't do that. It's still restricted to that rank object. Emma also asked, are there new aspirations, more sim and law traits? And Romeo says, more information to come soon, stay tuned. So we're at least getting one other thing in those areas that's not being announced yet. I think we're gonna get at least one new aspiration. Mira asked, I have a question on the oversized crop patch. Will it only be for the new crops, or will it be applicable to all the crops, which includes the cow plant and the tree fruits? And Romeo says, the oversized crops are brand new crops and function slightly differently than your normal gardening plants. Alright, I'm interested to see how that will work, because, no giant avocado. Alright, well, as long as there is a decent amount of these, then I guess that's still okay. I don't need every single crop to be oversized. Paranormal Sims 4 asks, will we have a grocery store that we can go into? Romeo says there is a local grocery stall in the village of Henford-on-Bagley. It is run by the local NPC, Kim Goldblum. Okay, so then I guess that speculation that I had in the previous video about a possible rabbit hole grocery store was just staged with the animation of a sim appearing like as if they're just looking into it. Broken Simulation asks, so is this a pool then, or false advertisement? And Romeo says, what you see here is the Bagley River from the New World. The New World of Henford-on-Bagley will have various locations Sims can swim off-lot. I was thinking this might be the only place that we can swim in Henford-on-Bagley, but good to know that there is more. Maybe they'll do what they did in Brightchester, where each district will have swimmable water. Cause, yeah, in Sulani that was basically expected, but yeah, I was not expecting that in Discover University at all. Next, Don asked, with this upcoming expansion, was the team inspired by a real place, more specifically Isle of Skye, Scotland? And Romeo says, lots of inspiration from the Cotswolds. I wasn't sure exactly where this was in the UK, so I looked it up, and Google does say that it's a rural area of south-central England, covering parts of 6 countries, notably Gloucestershire and Oxfordshire. I wish they had gone more outside of England for this one, since we already got that with Brightchester, but at least it is better than getting yet another US-based one. Boring Bone says, thanks for the transparency. Will we be able to customize the new animals in Create a Sim? I noticed that rabbits, chickens, and llamas have different colors and costumes. I would be satisfied if we could at least adjust colors and outfits in CAS. Romeo replies with, these animals are not available in CAS. However, you will be able to purchase various colors of cows, chickens, and llamas. For rabbits, you will need to explore the world and befriend the rabbit in your desired color. You will also be able to apply the animal clothing in-game. Not too surprised by this answer. I figured even if they were able to go into cast, it'd be a very limited form of it. But the animals don't take up a slot in your household. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I also want to go back to a tweet from my previous video because I forgot to address all of it. I was speculating that maybe the alligators can kill our Sims, but since it does seem to just be emphasized as visual effects, then I don't think there is really any functionality to it. So then it's harder to guess what deaths plural is. I'm assuming it's just 2, but I'm thinking maybe one of them is actually right here, with this chicken fighting the Sim. I think this has a potentially deadly consequence. But as for the others, not really sure. I wasn't expecting any new deaths in this expansion. As for the new woohoo spot, I think it will be in a hay bale, because we could just have the reused animation from the leaf pile in Seasons, which was inspired by the hay bale woohoo in The Sims 3 Pets, so full circle, I suppose. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you want to see horses in The Sims 4? And what do you think of cottage living so far? And be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest gaming content, including life simulations and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!